All right, welcome to the Coach's Playbook. Look, we're not just going to recap the news this week. We're going to do something different. We're going to break it all down like a real coaching session, looking at exactly what the pros did to win. We'll get into the mindset, the skills, the strategy, all the stuff you can actually take and apply it to your own game. So let's kick things off with a big one, a question every single one of us has asked on the course. What is it? What truly separates a good round from a great one? I can tell you right now, it's not just a couple of lucky bounces. No way. It's this incredible mix of mindset, raw skill, and sharp strategy. And you know what? We saw some perfect examples of this on the Pro Tours this week, and we're going to break them all down. All right, here's the game plan for today. We're going to hit 4 key areas: the champion's mindset, a masterclass in skill, strategy, and teamwork, and finally, the professional's playbook. Let's get right to it. Okay. Lesson number 1, we're starting with the most important club in your bag. And nope, it's not your driver. It's your mind. And boy, did we see an unbelievable example of this at the Asia Pacific Amateur. A lesson in resilience that shows you how to win, even when it feels like all is lost. So, just try to put yourself in this situation for a second. The pressure is immense. It's the final round, a spot in the Masters is on the line, and you're 6 shots back. 6. For most of us, let's be honest, that feels like game over. But this was the exact spot Arizona State's FIFA Lapukti was in. And for a champion, well, that's when the real work begins. And check this out, 8. That's the number that says it all. 8 birdies in his last 11 holes. He didn't just kind of crawl his way back. No, he absolutely tore down that lead with a scoring blitz to force a playoff. That right there is a masterclass in how to perform under insane pressure. Okay, so what's the takeaway for your game? How can you actually use this? Well, it breaks down into a simple 3-step mental process. First, stay patient. You're not going to erase a 6-shot lead on the first tee, right? Second, start to apply pressure. Let your opponent see you're coming. Let them hear the footsteps. And third, when the moment comes, you have to execute in the clutch, just like he did to win that playoff. And the results? He becomes the first Thai amateur ever to get that Masters invite. It's just a perfect picture of what happens when that mental toughness finally meets a lifetime of hard work. That's the payoff right there. And it's such a powerful reminder for all of us. It doesn't matter how far back you think you are, the round is never over till that last putt drops. All right, so a strong mindset is absolutely key, but let's be real. You gotta have the skills to back it up, right? And what's so cool about what we saw this week is that the winners proved there's no single recipe for victory. Each one got it done by leaning on a totally different world-class skill. Think about it. 3 different tours, 3 different winners, 3 totally different paths to the trophy. The coaching lesson here is huge. You have to know what your strengths are and build your entire game around them. So let's take a closer look at how each of these guys did it. Okay, first up, on the PGA Tour, we had Michael Brennan winning with just incredible pinpoint accuracy. I mean, this was only his 3rd start on tour. He's a perfect example that you don't have to be the biggest bomber out there to win. If you can control your golf ball and hit your targets, you can compete with absolutely anyone. It's about precision, not just brute force. Then you hop over to the DP World Tour, where Junghwan Lee got his win with rock-solid steady ball striking. He wasn't doing anything flashy. He was just playing smart, consistent golf. Fairways, greens, 2 putts. He just let everyone else make the big mistakes. It's such a great reminder that boring golf often wins you trophies. And then there's the Champions Tour, where Steven Alker's putter was just absolutely on fire. He opened with a ridiculous 61 and basically just ran away with it. You know, it's the perfect example of how when that flat stick gets hot, the game suddenly feels easy, and you can just leave the field in the dust. All right, let's switch gears a bit. We've talked individual play, now let's talk about teamwork. Our next lesson comes from a format that, honestly, is more like a chess match than your standard round of golf. And the best part? It's a format you can try out at your own club. So we're talking about the LPGA's International Crown, and the key format was 4-ball. Now, as a coach, I love this format. Why? Because it's all about chemistry and strategy. It completely changes how you play a hole. You can get way more aggressive, go for that tight pin, because you know your partner has your back and is safely in the fairway. It really comes down to trust, communication, and figuring out how to blend 2 different games into one unbeatable score. And it all boiled down to a final between Australia and the USA. You know, what really stood out was the synergy of the Australian team. That was the decider. you had Hannah Green and Grace Kim just clicking, winning their match with holes to spare, and that sealed the deal. It's such a perfect illustration that in four-ball, it's not always the best collection of individual players that wins. It's the best team. Okay, for our last lesson today, we're going to zoom out. We're going behind the ropes to look at the game behind the game, the business of being a pro golfer. Because believe me, a successful career is about so much more than just shooting low scores. It's about making smart moves off the course, too. And a huge piece of that puzzle is the official World Golf Ranking, the OWGR. You gotta understand, this isn't just some leaderboard. It's basically the currency of professional golf. Your ranking is your ticket. It's what gets you into the majors, and those are the events that can literally define your entire career.
So this is where things get really interesting right now. The whole situation with LIV Golf. You see, they've applied to get these all-important ranking points, but that application, it's still just sitting there, under review. And that creates a ton of uncertainty for their players when it comes to qualifying for the majors.
And man, this quote from the former chairman of the OWGR, it just says it all, doesn't it? It really highlights how deep this divide in men's golf has become. It shows you just how incredibly challenging it is to build a system that everyone agrees is fair and recognizes the best players no matter what tour they're on. And the thing is, the business of golf is just evolving at lightning speed. You've got new requirements for players popping up, and a whole new kind of sponsor is jumping into the game. We're talking social media brands, high-end club makers, all of them investing in the future of the sport. It's a whole new world out there. So after all that, what's the big takeaway from today's coaching session? Look, the pros really do give us a blueprint. They show us what it takes. So the question for you is, which lesson are you going to take to the course this week? Is it going to be working on that champion's mindset, honing one specific skill, or maybe thinking more strategically about your matches? Pick one thing. That's how you really start to improve.